Alright, hey guys, welcome back. This is a little companion video that we wanted to make. A few more thoughts we had on the film Searching, starring John Cho. One of the things, like we said in our review video, was this film was marketed a little bit differently, and I think uniquely for the fact that this does star a Korean-American actor and actors in the film.
Yeah, and I guess we kind of wanted to expand on that topic a little bit because...
Marketed in Korea.
Right, yeah. It's just such a rare thing to get an Asian American actor or Asian American actress in a lead role in a major Hollywood production, or just any type of Hollywood production in general. Usually Asian American actors tend to find themselves sort of relegated to either, side roles, minor roles, or roles that are very stereotypical that has, something to do with martial arts or kung fu. And it's been like that since as long as I can remember.
The Orient.
Right. I guess we kind of wanted to briefly discuss why it's so hard for Asian Americans to get recognized in the entertainment industry in general.
I would still pose that question, like, we're still wondering.
Right.
What is the main reason?
Yeah.
We have some theories, but this film, Searching, we think, we hope, is just one great example of maybe some progress in this realm of maybe Hollywood or different types of
studio execs,
having more confidence.
Yeah, and taking notice that, yes, Asians indeed are marketable and they don't have to be, side characters and, martial artists all the time. This movie, alongside with Crazy Rich Asians, which I have not seen but is apparently doing really well at the domestic box office. So hopefully that's a good sign of things to come. I don't know how soon we'll be getting, our version of Black Panther per se. I think that might still be a little bit further down the road, but I definitely have my fingers crossed because Asians definitely really need that push in order to really convince studios and studio execs that we can be just as good and viable in lead roles.
What do you think some of the reservations that these execs have for giving a lead role, big film role, to an Asian American actor?
Well, I think it has, I think a lot of factors playing. I think just since way back in the day of, just Asians sort of being, especially Asian males being very somewhat emasculated, and they're not necessarily, it's interesting because even during that whole boom of Jackie Chan and Jet Li Hollywood films, you never saw these actors ever actually getting the girl in the film per se. They were the lead actors, but they were never romantically involved with their female co-leads. You never saw that happen. So that type of thing, perpetuates that idea of, yes, an Asian actor can only
be like this warrior character,
right? And it can't be a romantic lead, or just doesn't have the charisma.
Never gonna have a sex scene.
Right. It's been, they've been typecast in those types of roles since the beginning, since they've gotten involved in acting in the industry, and not much progress has been made.
Because I guess John Cho is part of the history and the progress of this. I guess starting with Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. Even
how they marketed them.
Right. Even then, at least I thought for a moment that, okay, this is going to be our opportunity to sort of sort of for Asian actors to really be able to put themselves on the map and sort of break the stereotype.
I think it was with Indian actors.
Yes. But even that phase sort of came and went really quickly.
It did kind of pass by.
It fizzled out pretty soon.
There's one thing I noticed too. It's how we're more comfortable casting a Japanese actor or a Chinese famous actor in a role that's supposed to be played by an Asian person, or it's an Asian part. We're taking foreign actors more than we would a domestic actor, and the fact that they don't speak native English, for me, kind of detracted from the role and almost perpetuated the stereotype.
Oh yeah, of course.
of an Asian person in a role, and not being able to speak English, but yeah, this perpetuation of the stereotype just, I think, will stop once you have someone like this kind of movie where Searching is a completely 100% American family. They just so happen to be Asian and have that in their family lineage.
Yeah, I think that's when it comes to the topic of race. That's what I really appreciated the most about this film, is the fact that race really isn't addressed at all. It is what it is. They're a Korean American family, and race is pretty much a non-factor in the film.
They don't shine a spotlight on it.
No, not at
all. No
all.
attention is really called to it.
Yeah, there's just one brief nod to Korean culture that most Koreans or Korean Americans will get right away. But besides that, I don't even think.
So is that when the brothers are talking and they talk about mom and dad?
They say there someone types 엄마 아빠, which means mom and dad in Korean. But besides that, I really don't even think they mention being Korean in the film at all. I mean, obviously we know because of their last names, but so yeah, I think it's really kind of went out of his way to sort of take race out of the picture and just sort of present this family as another regular American family that just happens to have that just happens to look Asian, and which I think is the best way to approach race in these in a movie, and I feel like that will sort of pave the way for Asians to be cast more in lead roles
and to break the stereotypical role that they would normally fill, which is that warrior,
right, and they can just be much more easily integrated into any type of roles without the color of their skin or the way they look having to be a factor at all. It's going to be a slow process, but without a doubt, it can't be denied that especially Asian American actors have not had the same amount of representation that even African American actors have had in Hollywood. I can't really think of a modern day Asian American actor that has been recognized by the Academy or has, by critics in terms of acting. And most of them a lot of them have worked consistently in the industry, but they just don't get that same kind of recognition. If anything, John Cho is probably the most recognizable one because he's been around for so long,
Right, and there's not as much of an outcry either over this lack of representation.
And it's weird because what's strange is that, and this is kind of, it's not really off topic, but it's kind of like a tangential rant that I'm about to go on right now, but last year there was this whole controversy about the Netflix show Iron Fist and how Iron Fist was being played by a white actor. And a lot of people were a lot of non-Asian people on YouTube and and other media outlets were making a big deal about this, about how, we need more diversity and why didn't they cast an Asian American actor in this role? And I'm kind of just like, okay, these people kind of don't know what they're talking about, because this is, first of all,
what was the basis for calling for that?
Well, the character of Iron Fist is Caucasian in the comics to begin with, so it's not like they're whitewashing this character. He was already white to begin with. Yes, it might be like cultural appropriation because he's taking elements of Asian culture and that sort of defines the character. But
that's how it was originally written.
But it wasn't a case of whitewashing. And the fact that people were calling for this role to be played by an Asian American actor or an Asian actor, for me would have been it's not a progressive move at all. It's regressive, if anything, because, the last thing we need is another Asian American actor cast in a martial arts role.
Right. And it was almost to try and fit the, I'm guessing from people who are not Asian, but the white, black, whatever.
Yeah.
Their perfect image of this hero would have been Asian to satisfy the the martial arts aspect.
Yeah, and if that's what people's idea of diversity in the entertainment industry is, then I'm not really for it, because it's not helping our case at all. I don't want to see another Asian actor doing kung fu on screen. I just want more Asian actors doing normal things, doing normal everyday people things like they actually do in real life. We're not just constantly, punching and kicking each other and, doing stuff at a desk and crunching numbers or, being a doctor or a fucking lawyer, whatever it is, we have to, the goal is to break away from these stereotypes and not to be typecast in these types of roles,
Yeah, that brings up an interesting point too, because I can feel on those people's parts, their heart's in the right place.
Of course,
And they're trying to do, they would like more Asian representation, but there's a certain approach, I guess, that would be ideal.
Right.
And sort of getting rid of those or letting the old stereotypical parts go is a great first step. It's like, okay, that aside, a film like Searching, great example.
Yes.
Again, there's nothing about the setup of the role, the part, the plot that requires a specific race.
Yeah.
But you do just present it.
Yeah. You don't have to be Korean or Asian to connect with this, this family story in the film at all.
Yeah, and it's not trying to connect with Koreans or Asians.
I feel like that's the right kind of progress, and I keep saying that. I feel like that's the way that race should be approached in most movies, unless the narrative of the movie itself calls for, contextual references to race, or it has to deal with some type of, racial issue.
Or historical.
Right, or historical event. But in a movie like this, I feel like that was the perfect approach.
It's just so modern. It's so 2018 with the technology and with its portrayal of race in movies. So I think that's just another reason why I like the movie so much.
Yeah, and it's always great as a fellow Asian or Korean American. It's always great to see these actors who've been working so long finally land a role like this. Because it's really well deserved. John Cho's great. He's always been great, I feel like, and this was an opportunity for him to really sort of flex his acting muscles. I don't know. I just hope that Hollywood and studio execs really start to take notice of this, and hopefully there's a greater push for more, Asian American representation in, media roles. Just to see how excited people were out here in Korea to see like a fellow Korean actor in a lead role in a Hollywood movie is a really big deal out here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to imagine, but when I really try to kind of put myself, I guess, in a Korean person's shoes, and going to the movies a lot and seeing Hollywood films, are all, of course, they're subtitled in Korean, and they're faces that don't look like yours.
Right.
And to see one where it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's gotta have some kind of a different effect, different feeling, different impact.
Yeah.
I guess when you go in to watch.
I mean, and it's cool to have like Korean actors in the Korean film industry sort of go over to Hollywood, such as Lee Byung-hun,
right,
or Byung-hun Lee, if you want to.
Is that his name?
Yeah. But it's cool to see actors like him, go over to Hollywood and
Rain.
Yeah. That's we don't talk about that. But so it's cool to see actors from over here sort of go over to America and do things out there. But
yeah, that's another element of this whole topic, which is cool to see. We're very supportive of that as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like there's so many good talent that are working in Hollywood already that just don't get a chance. It's like I want to see more of them, because it's
right. And I think it's easier for the studio execs to get a international star,
right? And I feel like studios think that they're more marketable than well, because they're already recognized internationally. It's like they're also appealing to the international film market as well. So what you mentioned earlier of how it's interesting that they decided to get Japanese actors or Korean actors or Chinese actors from overseas to play roles in Hollywood films as opposed to their own domestically bred, if you will, Asian actors, right? I feel like it has a lot to do with the marketing, and it's kind of unfortunate, but that's kind of the way things are right now, even now. When you talked about Rain, that was kind of like the only reason I feel like he was cast in that Ninja Assassin role at the time, is because he was such an international star.
Right. Marketable.
Right.
But yeah, so those are some of our thoughts. I think this is an ongoing discussion.
This is a topic that we could talk about for hours on end, and it's
something that we're gonna try to monitor, try to see if there's any progress made in certain areas. We do hope that you guys can contribute to the discussion and let us know your thoughts on various Asian representation in more mainstream Hollywood films, and maybe some actors that you would like to see really get their fair shot in a big role.
And I think it's also important to mention that since this can be sort of a sensitive subject to certain people, I feel like whatever you guys decide to discuss in the comment section, let's keep the conversation civil and well mannered, because everyone's opinion is valid, right? What I really just want to say is that I just hope that this is just the beginning of more progress in the future, and my fingers are crossed that it will make some type of impact in the industry.
All right. Yeah. So we'll leave it there, and we'll be back soon with another Movie Beat Talks episode. Lots to talk about: films, Korean films, world cinema in general. We're just going to keep watching them and talking about them.
Yeah, and whatever more topics that you think that you guys think that we should discuss, just leave them in the comments below, and we'll talk about them.
All right. Until next time, we'll see ya.
Bye, guys.